When Alice closed up the shop that night, she had the least premonition that her life was about to become a roller coaster of fear and survival. She balanced her account, secured the cash transactions, and turned off the lights before stepping out into the night. The sky was gray, its vastness blurred by 1,000 lights shining from the windows of towering buildings. Just outside the subway entrance, a street performer rapped along to Jay-Z's verse on Alicia Keys' Empire State of Mind. Passerbys had their phones out, recording, capturing another night in Brooklyn. Alice smiled, her mind at ease. A regular evening in the City of Lights, full of people with dreams, chasing them with the hope that someday life would get better. She muttered that thought to herself as she stood waiting on the train. She looked around, as she had done countless times before. The station was crowded, tired commuters heading home, shoulders slumped with exhaustion, and those just beginning their night, their energy infectious. The train's arrival jolted Alice from her momentary reverie. She stepped into the coach through the doors that opened directly in front of her. 3 others joined her, an old man leaning on a walking stick, a young woman with long black cornrows, and a teenage boy carrying a skateboard. None of them spoke. Alice, already deep in her thoughts, barely noticed. That was when she first saw it. A phone. Black, motionless, wedged between 2 seats as if deliberately placed there. Alice glanced at the other passengers. They sat too far away for it to belong to any of them. She felt an unusual pull towards the phone, as if it called out to her. Someone must have been in a hurry, Alice muttered under her breath as she reached for the phone. It was cold to the touch, almost unnatural, as if it had been sitting there for too long. She hesitated, then lifted it. The screen was unlocked. Thank goodness, she whispered. She could call someone from the contacts to report it lost. She would drop it off somewhere safer than an empty subway coach. There was only one contact. Call me. Alice frowned. No messages, no pictures, no social media apps. It kind of felt wrong. Against her better judgment, she dialed the number and pressed the phone to her ear. The call was answered on the second ring. A voice, low and eerie, sent shivers crawling down Alice's spine. Welcome. I've been expecting you. Now, let's take your picture. Alice jerked the phone away from her face just in time to see the camera activate, capturing her bewildered expression. Her hands trembled. A cold fear crept up her spine. Sweat broke out on her scalp, sliding down her face. She stared at the screen. In the corner, a small icon read, Live. She was live. Alice felt her stomach drop. All the horror stories she'd read, the movies about psychotic killers, the real-life accounts of survivors, everything flooded her mind at once. Was this real? A prank? She looked around the subway, heart pounding. No one seemed to notice. The passengers remained lost in their own worlds. The screen suddenly went black. A message appeared in bold white letters. We know your address. Alice's breath hitched. The air in the coach felt heavy. Whoever was on the other end of the phone claimed to know where she lived. This was insane. Maybe it's a joke, she told herself, trying to calm the terror clawing at her chest. But she knew better. The train slowed down to a stop at the next station. As the doors hissed open, Alex slipped out the back between the seats, hoping to erase whatever just happened from her life. The passengers emptied onto the platform, blending into the crowd. Alex exhaled shakily and followed them. The walk from her subway to the apartment felt like forever. The feeling of being watched pressed against her from all directions. People behind her, those standing idly, even those who paid her no mind. She kept her pace steady, refusing to break into a run. Finally, she reached her apartment building. She pushed past the reception desk, hurried up the stairs and into her home, shutting the door with a shaky exhale. The weight of the night hung over her. Then, her phone vibrated. Alice froze. Slowly, she pulled it from her bag. A message notification bounced onto the screen. She hesitated, then clicked it open. A blank text. Her breath became sharp and uneven. Another vibration. Another message. "Hello, Alice." Her heart pounded against her ribs. The darkness of her apartment suddenly felt suffocating. She took a step toward the light switch. Another vibration. But this time, she didn't have to check her phone. A presence loomed behind her. "Hello, Alice." The voice was unmistakable. It was the same voice from the phone. Alice screamed. She turned, bolting for the door, but she wasn't fast enough. A hand caught her hair, yanking her back violently. She stumbled, crashing onto the glass table, which shattered under her weight. Pain exploded through her side. She gasped, feeling the sharp sting of a broken rib. Before she could react, the man was on top of her, pinning her to the floor. His breath was warm against her cheek. He inhaled deeply, a breath of grim fulfillment. "You cannot run from your destiny, Alice," he whispered. "You are from a long line of maidens, specially selected by the elders of old. Picking up that phone only made you the chosen one to be sacrificed. You should have left it alone. The sacrifice is a noble one. Your blood will avert doomsday by a year." Alice's vision blurred with pain and fear. Avert doomsday? Sacrifice? Chosen one? Elders of old? Her mind screamed. Her mind screamed at her to fight as she processed all of this information, to resist, to escape. But deep down she knew. She had seen it all in a dream. It was all too late.